real life scenario I want to share to really as a reminder for all of us to be double checking our 401k contribution amount. I'll explain coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, so working with my team of financial advisors on at Case Class. Okay, so this is something that we do for all new clients, that new prospects that raise their hand and say, "Hey, KFG, can you help me? Is there some financial wisdom you could add to my scenario and help add some value?" And so every week we've got a few different groups because our team is big, and we've got CPAs, CFPs, insurance professionals all together in one room or on Zoom, and we dive through all 6 areas, all the details of someone's financial life and see, all right, so what do we see? What's out of place? What are some of the planning opportunities? How can we help? And then that really lays out the agenda for really the next year's worth of work between our firm serving that client. And we were in the Case Class recently and got a really, really good reminder that should be, for all of us to double check our 401k contribution amounts. All right, so here's a scenario. These folks came in and said, "Hey, we need some help figuring out if we're on track to be financially independent by a certain age. So be able to retire by a certain age, but really they're hoping, well, can we achieve some financial independence, some peace by this time, and I'll retire at that time, or maybe work a little bit longer, we'll see." And then on top of that, they said, yeah, and along the way, we really want to be tax savvy. We want to be tax sensitive, want to be planful, not sure we're doing everything we can to manage the tax bill both today and in the future. And yeah, that's the sweet spot for us, looking at all 6 areas of your financial life, achieving certain financial goals, and then doing so in a way where you're paying the least amount of tax over your lifetime, not just trying to pay the least amount of tax today or tomorrow or whatever. It's over your entire lifetime, sometimes 2 lifetimes, multi-generational. Now this family, they had done a great job balancing their finances, sacrificing today for tomorrow, but also enjoying today. So had built up, they've got good income, but again, they're savers. So net worth over $4 million. And how that breaks down, they've got a couple million saved up in 401k type investments, another million or so that's in non-401k investments. And then they own their house and they've got other assets or so that total up to that 4 million. And so we're talking, so the advisor, should say, is talking in their meeting. We discussed this during our Case Class. And the advisor team, the 2 of them that were working with them, were asking, okay, so what are you doing to save up for retirement? What we call, Wise Money, you guys know this, what's your tax shelter strategy? Was essentially what we were asking. And the gentleman, he said, yeah, well, I'm maxing out my 401k contribution. So, okay, great. And just the conversation continued. So we get into Case Class and we're going through all 6 areas of their financial life, all the details. And we actually found, lots of ways that we can help, which isn't common, but it's always fun to explore. Oh, wow, look at this. I bet they're not aware of this. And look at this. We've got to address that. So we got to the tax planning area, and we also saw this in cash flow, by the way, present financial position. But we looked, and yeah, pull up his pay stub, and sure enough, and this was the end of 2021, sure enough, he had contributed the maximum of $19,500 to his 401k. Interestingly enough, had split this between pre-tax and Roth. Thought that was interesting. But at this pay stub, this was end of November, the pay stub that we were looking at, there were no more 401k contributions happening because he had reached that $19,500 limit for the year. Here's the problem. He's in his early 50s. He's early, 52, 53, something like that. So 19,500 is the normal limit for everyone, but then there's another catch-up contribution limit that he either assumed that he was contributing or didn't realize was there, or had just set it to 19,500 and that was done a couple years ago. I don't know, but what he thought was contributing the maximum, and obviously these folks had resources where they're trying to stuff as much money into tax shelters as possible, thought he was doing that and hadn't been for a couple of years, because at age 50, you now have the ability to make a catch-up contribution. By the way, this is not the point of this video, but they were only putting a little bit into an IRA, not max funding an IRA or a Roth IRA. There's actually a lot of work that we found as ways to maximize their tax shelters. But that's not the point of this video. So what are the contribution limits? You know these, and I'm going to get to the point, okay? The contribution limits for 2021, okay, $19,500, but then a $6,500 catch-up contribution that you can do in the year that you turn age 50 or older, okay? For 2022, that contribution limit is $20,500. That catch-up contribution is still $6,500. So, okay, so do that math. All right, that's your maximum. Okay, now here's the thing. Some 401k companies, when you sign up for your contribution amount, and this individual, he put in, I'm contributing 17%. That's what he put in. Some employers, when you fill out that form or go online and say, this is how much I want to contribute, there's a separate spot where you can elect and say, this is how much I want to contribute for the catch-up contribution. It's an entirely different thing. Now, I'm an oldie. I may not look at it at times, but yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. And so I remember when pretty much all 401ks were like this. You went in, you made the election and said, here's what I want my contribution to be, and then here's what I want my catch-up contribution to be. That's archaic. That's very rare these days. These days, it's just, here's your contribution percentage, all right? And then it goes all the way up to that $19,500, but if you're age 50 or older and you've got that catch up, then it just keeps on going. There's no separate spot where you have to say, yeah, but if I'm eligible for the catch up, I want to continue doing that. That's not the case for the vast majority of 401ks. It is for this person, and it might be for you. Are you eligible to do a catch-up contribution that maybe you thought is automatically happening, but your 401k allows you, it doesn't allow it, it requires, is the right word, for you to make a 401k catch-up election. Does it? Go in and double check. I know it's not all of us that want to contribute and can contribute the maximum amount to your 401k, but if you can, and if that's your plan, make sure that you are, and make sure that that contribution limit that you think is the limit is the right limit. The big idea, the big premise with this is comprehensive financial planning. Well, our team of CFPs and insurance professional CPAs, we found that issue and several others when we were doing this case class, this analysis. Those are the types of things that get missed. I think this individual is an engineer, and they've got kids, they're married, lots of stuff going on in their life. It's not expected that they're going to be experts in all of these areas. Interestingly enough, and I will just throw this out there, they had a few conversations with Everett Jones and a few other financial advisors before having a conversation with us, and I'm just going to say no one else caught that. Your certified financial planner who's doing comprehensive financial planning will catch that. They should catch it. Will they catch everything? I don't know. They're humans, but they should catch that. Versus an individual, a financial advisor, financial professional that's just trying to tuck into certain mutual funds or trying to manage your money and offer a free retirement analysis that's worth what you paid for it. Okay, so your CFP doing comprehensive financial planning should catch those sorts of things. So take a look out for that and work with your certified financial planner to see if there's any other ways that you should be maximizing tax shelters, have a tax shelter strategy. Work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team and work with us to go through that case class. We'll have multiple financial professionals all collaborating, looking at your case together to see how can we help, what issues exist, and what ideas do you need to consider. So you can find us online, korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. Right there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.